And we are live. Welcome to the MLB Strategy Show. It is Thursday, September 14th. I am Josh Engleman, here to break down an easy one. 5-game slate. Nobody's going to care. It's NFL. We've got Thursday night football tonight, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm here breaking down the main slate. I know people are going to ask. I see a little bit of it in chat already. Not touching on the early. Only time I'm ever going to hit an early is 4 games or more. I'm not hitting one for 3. At that point in time, it's just not enough players. That's a 60-person player pool. We're talking a very minimal amount of bodies. You're playing everybody. You're playing hitters against your pitcher. I don't have anything to add for something like that. So I can talk about a 5-game main. We'll break every piece of this down. It can't get any worse than it did yesterday. Playing 50% of the Red Sox and Yankees combined. That game got rained out, and I ended up with much less money. That was not fun for me. But we're here now to break down what this slate is. I hope everybody had a good day. Hit the like button as you get in the door. We're going to have a packed house for today, I assume. Everybody just wanting to watch. Or it's just going to be people getting here a little early for the NFL Strategy Show Matchups Edition coming up after this at 11 a.m. Eastern. It's the big one. They'll go for like an hour and a half or something, breaking down every single game, step by step. It's a good time, man. It's to me, the best football show that exists in the industry is today, coming up after this show. So I'm going to do my best to lead into it if I can. And then you guys should check that one out. I'm going ahead and loading up my crunch, and then we can get this bad boy started. So let's paste in today's projections. Easy first step. Again, only 5 games tonight on the main slate. Only 4 on FanDuel for those of you playing there. That would not be me. But it does exist today. Have I been to the aquarium at Fort Fisher? Multiple times. Multiple times. Been a while. You know, once you see it, you see it. But we used to take my godson when they'd be in town. My wife and I just went once or twice just when we first started dating. And then we went to like a food event there where like all local restaurants and breweries had a food and alcohol pairing. But when it was there, it sucked. So we haven't gone back since then. But yeah, it's fine. I like aquariums. We tend to go to like zoos, and even though I hate zoos as like a idea, we tend to go to a lot of zoos and aquariums and stuff when we travel. All right, I'm refreshing my lineups now, and then we could break this slate down. Let's see. That's an interesting set of exposures you got there, Josh. Okay. Well, we're loading up on the Giants, which isn't all that surprising to me. It's not going to be fun, but it is what we're doing. I'm going to knock them down just a little bit. Looks like we're getting to the Rays, too. Going to be a fun one. Back to the Yankees as well. That should be just a real treat. If you guys want to break down this slate with me, let's do it. We have an hour. We're probably not going to need it. But it's now time. Also, shout out to OwnersBox. We'll touch on them in a second. Really happy to have them as a presenting sponsor. I'm taking down that contest this Sunday, guys. I came close last week. Ended up finishing 10th. Maybe this week it goes a little bit better. All right. Blue Jays and Rangers, 7:07 start here. Kevin Gausman going for Toronto. Nathan Eovaldi going for the Rangers. Kevin Gausman currently 59% owned. That is a massive ownership number, but we got to remember, it's a 5-game slate. I have 55%. Is he properly owned? Yeah, probably. He's 52% to be a top 2 scoring pitcher. That is bonkers. Bonkers. But he should be. He's really good. Is it a hard spot? Yeah, it is. The Rangers aren't bad. Like Semien and Seager, Nate Lowe, the first 3 bats in this lineup are a problem. At the very least, it's power and average hitters after that. 187 ex-ISO to lefties this season for Kevin Gausman. Seager and Lowe, in particular, are the 2 guys that I think you need to keep an eye on the Texas side. On the other end for Eovaldi, to me, he's not rosterable. Maybe I'm wrong. He's 9,800 probably a couple percentage points owned. However, he had been out for a while. He threw 3 innings. No, that's not this year. So he threw 2 1/3 on the 9th, 1 1/3 on the 5th. He had been out for 2 months before that. I don't think Eovaldi's going all that long, even if you give him 3 innings. I think it's impossible to play Eovaldi today because he's 9,800. So right out of the gate, we have 10 pitchers, and we're immediately removing one. And some of the other pitchers are like Chase Anderson and Coors and Jose Urania. So I have 39% Jose Urania. This is a really difficult slate that we'll dig into as we move forward. Like, I'll never have 39% by the time we get to the end of the day, but it's worth talking about. Ultimately, don't play Eovaldi. Do play Kevin Gausman. Clearly the highest projected pitcher on today's slate. Your mileage may vary on whether Logan Webb or Gausman are better options today, but even for 11K, Gausman looks fantastic. Now, if we want to talk hitting, Rangers are going to be dead last in top stack or top value. That's not surprising. They're taking on one of the 5 best pitchers in baseball. Do you want to get on the opposite side? Like, there's a 4% chance that the Rangers are still the highest scoring stack against Gausman. On a 5-game slate, there's an obvious path to wanting to go to Texas if Gausman's in 60% of lineups. I am not doing it. I don't have any stacks. I have 1%. That is a much more viable mechanism today. You can have 4 or 5% of the range. Even if you just want to take a stand, 2x the field. If you want to have like 2.5% of the Rangers, or actually, what are they owned right now? 3%. If you wanted to have 6, I think that's fine. But for me, I'm looking a little bit more towards the Blue Jays side. But even then, I'm not really going there all that much. Only a 4.4 run implied total. Eovaldi's good. He just can't go deep enough into the game. I have the Blue Jays 7th out of 10 teams in top stack, 8th in top value. I have 4 stacks and 4% of the Jays. So I don't have much. A lot of it is going to Bo Bichette. I mostly see this game as a Kevin Gausman and nothing else situation. You're clearly ranking the game Gausman, Jays bats, Rangers bats, Eovaldi. But for now, not for me. I'm not going to have much other than Gausman. 12% of Bichette. The next most exposed guy I have in this entire game is 5% to Springer or Vlad. It's just not happening. It's an interesting spot, though. I wish that I were getting to more Texas, or getting to some Texas, I guess would be the easier way to say it. Not happening yet. We'll see what that ends up looking like towards the end of the day. None of this slate is going to be fun, especially because, and Jake is touching on it in chat right now. The most likely scenario is that we're not going to have Rockies Giants. That's going to get rained out. It's awful. It's awful. So I think that we end up with a 4-game slate. And that'll certainly make Texas look a lot better. Yeah, Jake, at the end of this, maybe I can do that. We'll see. We'll see what time we have left. It's really going to change the slate up a bit. All right, let's go to the next game. Orioles and Rays. This one's an interesting one for me here. 4.6 run implied total for the Orioles, 4 for the Rays. We're talking Kyle Bradish for Baltimore, Aaron Savali for the Rays. 31% ownership coming into Bradish right now. That is not where I have him at 9,400. I'm way lighter, although I do think he should be owned at 31%. I'm just not getting to him as of yet. I rarely do get to Bradish, which also I don't love. Savali on the opposite side, 6% owned. Okay, so he's 9K, but only 6% owned. I have him 15% to be a top 2 pitcher, plus 10% value. Aaron Savali is pretty massively under-owned. If this holds, I'm hoping that I can get to like 15%, because he should just be a little bit higher as we move on. Yeah, Bug Boy, I would not be happy with 10 points. I would be incredibly disappointed. That's not a victory. 10 points is bad. That's a bad outcome. At least we know you're not talking about cash games anymore. That's helpful. Now you're just wrong about GPPs. So there's that. Yeah, I don't care that he's 2,600. It's crazy how that works. How are you going to say he's the best value? Let's read that again. Been the best value on the slate. Well, he wasn't with 10 fantasy points. Yeah, I'll go ahead and take the guys that score 20 and give myself a chance to win. I have no interest in getting someone that scored 10 fantasy points. Let's see. How many people scored 10 fantasy points yesterday? How many games were there? I legitimately don't remember how many games there were. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 games. Obviously, no Yanks game. Yeah, give me all the other guys. Give me Robbie Grossman. I'd rather have Robbie Grossman than Evan Carter, the 25th highest scoring dude. Yeah, Zach, that's the perfect one. Rafaela was way better. Do you know why? Because he hit leadoff, not 9th. It's crazy how those extra plate appearances matter. Can't imagine why we would want to look at those things. Congratulations on judging by results, Bug Boy. That seems to be going well for you. Anyway, let's talk through Bradish. I think the ownership is more appropriate than the amount that I have of him. 143 x ISO to lefties, 156 to righties. He doesn't get touched up all that much. He certainly has some strikeouts. Is it a tough matchup against the Rays? Yeah, like they're good, but 24% K rate's fine. There's certainly enough strikeouts there. I have no problem with 30% ownership coming into Bradish. I think that's fully warranted. I don't have him right now. I do think Savali is a little under-owned. If we talk about bats, the reason that I don't have as much Bradish is because I'm getting to the Rays side here. 6th in top stack, 7th in top value, but I have 13% of the Rays, upwards of 21% to Brandon Lowe. Lau, whatever. I don't care. I can't read that many names like that and get it right every time. These Rays are unowned. And do I think that it's a great spot to attack Kyle Bradish? No, but this is a park that plays up runs. It plays up power. We're expecting likely probably 4 games today. If Bradish is in 30% of lineups, I see I see the Rays as the way better version than the Rangers. Like, you're getting all that ownership for Gossman. So you could go to the Rangers on this kind of slate. I would rather skip the ownership of Bradish and get the Rays. But it's not like I'm overly exposed to any one of these guys. I'm very happy to get to any of the lefties that I can. So if that's Brandon Lau or Josh Lowe, both of those guys are fine. Luke Raley, 194 X ISO to lefties. I think the Rays are pretty sneaky given their current ownership range. But then we talk about Baltimore. Now, they're pulling a little bit more ownership, and they're obviously in a way better spot taking on Savali. I have them 5th in top stack, 6th in top value. I have 12 stacks. I have about 8.5%. Savali does not get hit hard at all. 154 x ISO to lefties and under 100 to righties. So I think a more difficult side for Baltimore. Now, they're going to run out a lot of lefties. No Ryan Mountcastle today, who is now injured, but you're talking lefty, 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 righty, lefty, lefty, righty. That's 7 lefties against Savali. I get the Baltimore side. I just want to have a lot of this game. Right now, I have over 20% combined. We'll see what that looks like if we drop Rockies Giants, but I find this game fascinating across the board. I think it's easy to want to get on the opposite side of Bradish to try to get yourself to the top of a contest, but both sets of bats look good. Okay. This is a fun game. This Orioles-Rays game, I think, is like the swing game for today. Because you can make a case for just about anything. I think Savali's underrepresented. Bradish is getting the love. I like stacking the Rays against Bradish. And then obviously Baltimore at home in this park at minimal ownership is just going to be a little bit interesting. All right. Hit that like button if you haven't done it yet. 64 people in the house. Let's talk about schedule for the rest of the day. That's very, very easy. We got a lot of content. NFL Strategy Showdown show has already happened. Laffy and Makajewski broke down tonight's Thursday night football game. You guys can check that out on the channel. I'm doing the strategy show right now, obviously. NFL matchup show is coming up next with Laffy and Eric. They're going to break down every game in heavy detail. This is the show you want to watch, folks. Don't miss this one. NFL Rainmaker show at 1:30 with Greg Ehrenberg. OwnersBox live show with Greg Ehrenberg at 4:30, breaking it down, showing you the Sims tool, what we've got for week 2 at OwnersBox. MLB Live Before Lock. Greg is back, as am I, 6 to 7. We're going to break down the rest of this MLB slate, probably the 4 games that we have to talk about. And then we're still not done. NFL Live Before Lock at 7:15. That's the time to do it. You're getting Laffy. You're getting Neil Orfield. It's NFL Live Before Lock for Thursday Night Football, Eagles and Vikings. All right. Let's go to Red Sox Yankees, which honestly makes my stomach turn a little bit. Now, we don't totally know what these lineups are going to look like. They've got an earlier game. This is a doubleheader. But Garrett Whitlock going for Boston, allegedly. Clark Schmidt going for the Yankees in game 2. Whitlock is 5,600. He's going to be the opener. I don't think he's going very long, maybe 2-3 innings. A potential value option, but we'll see what this looks like a little bit closer to lock. Come back to this one for Live Before Lock. Clark Schmidt then 13% owned, or sorry, I have 13% of Schmidt. I don't want to get too much, but he is 7,100 and we're running out of pitching options. I'm absolutely going back to this game for offense, especially if the Rockies and Giants game goes away. I have the Yankees 3rd in top stack, 1st in top value. I have 34 Yankee stacks and 22% ownership. I'm getting to 20 plus of Florial. Estevan Florial is everything that Bug Boy thinks Clayton is. Or not Clayton, Carter, rather. Carter. Sorry, Clayton. Hits leadoff, 2,100. Lefty, righty in a good run spot. Projected for infinitely more fantasy points. A massively better play. 22% owned, so an actual cash play, not like everything else we talked about. I've been getting to a ton of Florial, and I'm going to again if he's in the leadoff spot, but give me some Judge. Give me a 5% owned Gleyber Torres. Give me an 8% owned Stanton. Austin Wells' swing is too long, but I'm happily going that way at catcher. Multiple MPEs at the bottom. It didn't work yesterday because they didn't play, but I am jamming the Yankees. And then I'm going straight back to Boston, too. 18 stacks, 12% overall ownership. Devers continues to look fantastic. All of these lefties against Clark Schmidt play up. Verdugo, Devers, Casas, Yoshida, even Abreu. There's a lot here. Am I going to have as much of the Red Sox as I am the Yankees? No, I am not. But I want to have both of these teams, and I'll probably at least have a bit of Schmidt. I'm preferring the Yankees. I'm expecting the Yankees to be my most exposed team, just like they've been recently. That especially will happen if we drop Rockies and Giants. But between Orioles, Rays, Red Sox, and Yankees, I think those 2 games are going to soak up the large majority of my hitting exposure. In fact, right now, including the Rockies-Giants game, 56% of my exposure is going to those 2 games. That's well more than the 40% it would be just based on generic across-the-board math. But I'm really looking at Wells, really looking at Florial. Florial in particular. I mean, Estevan Florial is the best play on today's slate. Every team, no matter what, he is very clearly the best bat for today. I don't think it's particularly close. When you get a road guy with a, close to a 10-run implied total, 2,100 in the leadoff spot, it's a no-brainer. That's the kind of guy you go out of your way to get to no matter what. But I'm locked and loaded for this game again. I wish I wasn't yesterday because it really hurt, but I like the spot. I'm doing it again. White Sox and Twins. Man, we are zipping through this slate. 3.9 run implied total for the White Sox, 5.4 for the Twins. Jose Urania going for Chicago. Kenta Maeda going for Minnesota. Urania is bad. 5K today has given up a 264 X ISO to lefties with a 7% K rate across 215 pitches. It's a 302 X ISO against righties, striking out 15% of guys. Incredible spot for the Minnesota Twins bats because of how bad he is. Maeda on the opposite side, only 24% owned, 7,800. Not the best strikeout matchup for Maeda, but his price tag just allows you to get to as much as you want. 24% Ks to lefties, 28 to righties. He gives up a lot of righty power. That's going to be a little scary for Lubob, for Eloy, for Andrew Vaughn. But I think he's in a really nice spot to zip through this White Sox lineup. So I'm over the field on Kenta Maeda. I think 24% is too low of an ownership number. I think he's sneaky today at that. Like, he's half as owned as Logan Webb. I think those guys are much closer in terms of projection, and you get an extra $1,000 from rostering Maeda. Now, if we want to talk about bats, second in top stack for me, third in value, that's the Twins. Now, the Twins will move to number one if we lose the Giants. But the first five guys are all 20% owned. You're getting 10% or higher across the board. I have no disagreement that the Twins look fantastic on paper. But if it is Julien and Polanco in 1-2, you can't roster both of their second basemen, and they're stealing a spot from each other in a primary section of the order. I'm going to be light on the Twins very naturally. Do they look good? Yeah. But I think the Red Sox and the Yankees are a lot closer to the Twins. So I can get to them, drop the Twins, still get the Giants if that game exists. If the Giants game goes away, maybe I get to a lot of Twins. On paper, Twins are great, and you're probably building out a large swath of your cash lineup with Twins and Giants. But in this case, I'm way under the field. I have 3 stacks of the Twins, 5.5% ownership. They're excellent plays, but there's no flexibility here. There's no MPEs. They're doubling up on positions. Christian Vasquez is a very bad catcher, so I don't really like bringing him along for the ride. I don't really like the Twins all that much, even though massive power potential against Jose Urena. He's really bad. White Sox side of this one against Maeda, I don't see. They're 9th in top stack for me. That's 1 spot below the bottom. They are incredibly cheap other than Lubob, but I only have 2%. I would much rather get to a lot more Maeda than get to the White Sox bats. As I see this game, it's Maeda, Twins bats, White Sox bats, Urena. I don't really want to get to Urena. Unfortunately for me, though, I am. And that's what the driving force is. I don't expect any of it to look like it does. But at some point in time, you need to figure out where you want to get value. Because we only have 9 pitchers. That's the problem here. Because you can't include Eovaldi unless we find out that he can actually go deep. So something in this Garrett Whitlock, Chase Anderson, Jose Urena trio, the 5K guys, someone's going to climb out of that with some ownership. And that, I think, is what's causing me to get some here. This will all flatten out by the time we get to live before lock. But even though he's awful, he's a decent value. And he is stretched out enough that if luck will have it, if he gets to, 12, 13 fantasy points, you might not regret it on a slate like today. So I'm getting to Urena, but I think the moral of the story is you need to find someone in the 5K at pitching that you don't hate. I don't like any of this. I don't at all. It's truly unappealing. You know what's not unappealing, guys? I think you'll know the answer. It's hitting the like button. You guys should absolutely do that. That helps. But now, what's not unappealing is OwnersBox. They are the presenting sponsor of this show. You guys see the banner at the top of the screen. I'm going to talk about them right now. I'm going to share my screen as well so you can see the contest that I'm talking about. And as we do that, we see what's going on at OwnersBox. It's pretty simple. Ooh, made that too big. If you want to sign up, here's what you're going to do. Click the link in the description, make a deposit. It needs to be at least $10, upwards of 500. If you put in 500, they're going to match with 500. You're going to get it in OwnersBox. Now, it will trickle out a bit. I believe it's a 4% conversion, but I already converted a pretty sizable chunk of my OwnersBox just from week 1. We'll do that every week. So you can get up to $500. Whatever you deposit, they're going to match in OwnersBox. So you put in 100, you get 100. You put in 500, you get 500. It has to be 10 at a minimum. And then we got to talk about what their NFL contest is going to be for week 2. $175,000 prize pool, $50K to first once again. They've reduced the entries down to about $14K. That's still more than the amount of people that entered the contest in week 1. My expectation is that you're going to see reduced rake here, maybe overlay. So if we think about it like this, they need to make, you need 175,000 at $15 a pop. That's 11,667 entries. Anything less than 11,667, you're talking overlay. Anywhere from 11,667 upwards to 13,875, you can get reduced rake. That is also more than okay with me. I love this contest because you can use our NFL Sims Max package because you get it for a week when you sign up and deposit that $10. It's fully loaded for DraftKings, FanDuel, and OwnersBox. You can use the Sims tool, generate 10,000 lineups, adjust all of your stacks, boost players if you want, create whatever package of lineups you're looking for and load them directly into OwnersBox. It's all set up for you to be able to use our new package and see everything that we're giving you in the NFL Sims Max tool. So sign up, link in the description. Come join me in this OwnersBox contest on Sunday. I tried to get first. The Colts beat me. Steve got out there in front of me. I got to 10th. I'm coming for that number 1 spot. But if you want to come for it as well, use our tools. I promise you it's going to make you better off. I used every bit of our stuff for OwnersBox last week, and it certainly worked. Well, guys, we're going to finish off our final game, and it's the hardest game to talk about because we don't know if it's going to happen. And honestly, the way that it looks right now, it's not going to happen. It seems very obvious that they're going to cancel this one relatively early to me. Assuming it's even a chance of rain, they're going to turn this into a doubleheader because this is game 1. They're going to be there all weekend. We're going to see a couple games. They're perfectly set up to just run a Saturday doubleheader. I don't expect this game to happen. For right now, it's Logan Webb for the Giants. It's Chase Anderson for the Rockies. Logan Webb is 52% owned at 8,800. Am I getting to 52%? No, not even close. I think he should probably be around 40, but the price works. The Rockies are bad. I think this is a really nice spot for him. Only a 4.1 run implied total. I have no qualms getting to a bunch of Webb, but I only have about 30%. Ultimately, I think the entire field is going to have to redistribute that 50% ownership when he's not actually a pitcher tonight. Chase Anderson is terrible. I have him projected for 6 fantasy points. He's 5,200. He's unowned, so I'm still getting there. Don't use that as any sort of justification. Just trying to find value somewhere. Again, I don't expect him to be there. If you're surprised to hear this, the Giants and their 6.2 run implied total are the number 1 stack on the day. I have 48 Giants stacks, 27% ownership. They're abundantly obvious as the best team you can get to. Anderson's terrible. We're in cores. It plays up runs. It plays up power. Every bit of that looks good. But I think we're going to lose this game. I also don't have much interest in the Rockies. Sometimes I like to get to Colorado in these spots, but not against Logan Webb. I have them 8th in top stack, 9th in top value. I only have 4 stacks and 4% of them. I don't see the Rockies as a viable option for today. Now, I really don't think this game is going to exist. I think we're going to lose Rockies Giants, and we're going to have a 4-gamer that only exists at 7 o'clock. I'm hoping that all just happens. I'm hoping that it happens after lock, honestly, because whatever percentage of people that we can get to play the Rockies and the Giants would be great. So, and that'll be a couple percentage points. If you're willing to leave Rockies Giants out, assuming that it doesn't get, as long as it doesn't get postponed by 7, if you're willing to leave that game out, we're probably going to end up with 5% of the rake just paid by people playing Rockies Giants. Sort of like I did yesterday for Yankees and Red Sox. But that really changes the slate up a lot. The Twins will look very different. The Red Sox-Yankees game will become incredibly important. Everything ends up looking a lot different just by losing this Rockies-Giants game. I can run it, I think. It's going to take a couple minutes. I guess we have the time. The ownership will be a little weird. So let me think about how I can do this. Yeah, the lack of ownership will be a bit of a problem for me. Let's see what happens if I just unselect it. So we'll take out Giants, Rockies. Does that drop my pool down to 80? Yeah. Does that leave my projections the same? Yeah, let's see if I can run this for just the 4 games, and we'll see what that impact ends up being. Give me one second. It's going to take a couple minutes to get everything run. Oh, we can at least take a little peek-see. All right. I'm running my top stacks and top pitchers so we could take a quick look. And then I'll have my my simulation running in the background while we do that. So let me refresh these lineups, make it only a 4 setup. So there we go. We got that locked and loaded. Top stacks is done. Top pitchers is done. So once that's done, then I could rerun the sim itself. All right, sim is running in the background. Let's look at what top stacks look like if we drop the Giants and Rockies. So it's this middle table here. I have the Yankees jump into the top spot. The Twins I have at 20% top stack. I have the Yankees at 19. I think the Yankees are a better value. Red Sox clearly look good. Even the Rangers are at 6% at that case. So now I actually think that I can run everything. Now, when I'm running everything, that this was going to give me like a decent proxy for what we're going to have. Dr. DFS. Yeah, I'm going early on NBA. I might push it from 6:30 to 7 instead of what we used to do, just to give myself a little bit of extra time in the morning. But yeah, nothing's changing for NBA. At least it better not. Otherwise, I'll do it on my own. All right. Top pitchers tool will look a little bit different now that we reimagine Logan Webb. So yeah, you're still not going to be able to get to Eovaldi because he's just not priced correctly. Kenta Maeda looks a lot better. Kyle Bradish looks a lot better to me. I think Aaron Savali ends up becoming really interesting. And then someone in that Urania or Schmidt, like I think Urania is going to end up looking really good. Well, like really playable, maybe not good. Good is probably the wrong word to use here. We're almost done the crunch, which will be helpful. And we can take a quick lap through it and just see what it looks like. But for now, I'm expecting to really like Rays bats. I'm expecting to really like the Orioles bats. I don't expect to like the Twins still. But we're going to find out what that all looks like right now. So I'm going to take this data, drop it into the Crunch workbook. And then we'll find out what this slate looks like if you get rid of cores. At least for me. We'll find out what it looks like for me. And that is done. All right, perfect timing. Save this. Refresh this. So I had like 70 Giant stacks before. Now it's all gone. Yeah, the Rays have become my most exposed team. Here we go. Let's take a look at it. I'm just going to zip through this. No analysis, just what I'm getting to if this game doesn't exist. So we need that to go up by this going down. And then this needs to go up by this going down. Nailed it. Okay. So as we look at the pitching, yeah, I end up getting to 74% Gossman, so I get to more there. Now, these ownership numbers are going to be wrong for the pitchers, so that's going to tell a little bit of a story, but I'm not surprised by what I'm getting to here. I'm getting to a lot of the Orioles. I'm getting to a ton of the Rays. I'm getting to a ton of the Red Sox. I'm getting to a ton of the Yankees. I'm still incredibly light on the Minnesota Twins. I'm getting to more Urania. This all broke down exactly like I would expect. To me, the teams that I'm most focused on, Yankees, Orioles, Rays. The Rays are obviously against Bradish in this spot, but I like the leverage you're going to get. Yankees, Rays, Orioles, Red Sox. Those are my 4 priority stacks, assuming we don't get Rockies and Giants. Guys, we're done early today. Only a 5-game slate, probably a 4-game slate. Just make sure you're coming back and watching MLB Live Before Lock tonight at 6 with myself and Greg. We're going to have a lot to talk about. Maybe we have news on the Giants game. Maybe we don't. That will be the most important thing we talk about, though, for sure. We got it wrong yesterday. Maybe we'll get it right today. Thanks for joining me, though, everybody. Hit that like button if you haven't done it. Sign up at OwnersBox using the link in the description. NFL Strategy Show Matchups Edition. 20 minutes from now, 11 a.m. Laffy, Eric, breaking down every single game on Sunday's slate in detail. You're probably going like 90 minutes. Make sure you're coming to watch it. Guys, I love you. We're back tomorrow. Full slate, Fridays. It's going to be fun. Good luck for everything you do tonight. I will talk to you again tomorrow.